Hey, what's up, you guys? So today I thought I would share with you my worst plane ride experience. Let's just get right into it. So this is, of course, the first time I ever flew alone. I was on my way to Hawaii to meet up with the rest of my family who went a week earlier than I did. So I was already kind of nervous. I was already a little bit scared to fly for the first time because I was worried I wouldn't know where to go or how to get there or what to do when I got there, so I was already kind of nervous. Once I got onto my actual plane, I relaxed a little bit because I was where I was supposed to be. So I get on the plane and it takes forever for them to call like my seat number. They're going by specific rows, and so finally they get to mine. I'm one of the last people to board, and so I board the plane, I walk to my seat, and I see a couple sitting there, and I have the window seat. So there's 3 people per row, and I am the furthest inward towards the window. So first the husband stands up and the wife is in the middle. And she just looks at me and pulls her legs in like this and leaves about that much space between her leg and the seat in front of her. And I just kind of look at her for a second and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? And her husband's like, honey, if you want her to get on, I mean, I'm assuming you don't want her to crawl across your lap, you're gonna need to stand up. And so she like rolls her eyes super like this is like the worst chore for her, you know what I mean? She like goes, all right. And so she gets up, barely moves out of my way enough for me to go and sit down, like it's my fault that I got seated last. She finally moves, so I go to sit down, and she sits down like almost immediately before I even have time to put on my seatbelt. And let me just say this, this woman was by no means a skinny person. I'm not either, obviously. You could see that from me right here, but she was much larger than I was, and my butt fit in my seat, and her butt crawled a quarter of the way onto mine. So when she sat down in her seat, I was forced to basically push her fat out of the way in order to buckle my seatbelt. And I'm not saying anything bad about being bigger. I'm obviously bigger. I'm not fat shaming at all, but like, come on. Like, if you know that's a problem, wouldn't you wait to sit down so the other person could buckle their seatbelt? Just a thought. So anyways, I finally get my seatbelt buckled and we're going down the runway, whatever. Everything's fine for the most part, other than the fact that I'm literally crunched like this in my seat, like to the side, and this is like gonna be a 5-hour plane ride. I don't know if you know this, but for some reason in planes the air is extremely dry. I think it has to do with the air being recycled so much, but the air is super dry, so I was drinking a lot of water because I felt like I was getting really dehydrated. So I was drinking a lot of water, and obviously at some point I had to get up to use the restroom, and she gave me the dirtiest look when I was like, hey, excuse me, I need to use the restroom, would you mind getting up again just real quick? I promise I'll make it fast, you know? And she wasn't sleeping, like I wasn't interrupting her at all, you know? She was like sitting there talking to her husband, they were watching some videos, whatever. And might I add, this also kind of annoyed me, when the stewardesses were walking around saying, hey, can you guys turn off your tablets and your phones just while we're taking off, and then you're welcome to turn them back on. They just kept theirs on and were watching some movie and like didn't even pay any attention to that. And I was just like, okay, you can't turn it off for like 10 minutes until we get up in the air? Like, you're gonna have 5 hours to watch a movie. You know what I mean? She gives me a super dirty look. Her husband was like pretty sweet for the most part. He didn't really pay much attention to me, which is fine. But I was like, yeah, can I use the bathroom real quick? I'll be fast as I can, you know? And she just like looks at me and goes, I guess. And I'm just like, okay. So she like is like huffing and puffing the whole time, like as she's like getting out of the seat because I interrupted their movie time, you know what I mean? Like, God forbid, sorry I'm human, sorry I need to use the restroom once in 5 hours, you know what I mean? So I go to the bathroom. When I stand there, they literally let me sit there. Like her husband got up and then she let me like stand there for like a good like 10 seconds before she actually moved and got up and let me get back in my seat. And I was just like, I am not a rude person. I'm not a confrontational person. So to me, I was just kind of like, okay, well, guess I'll just have to, you know, be nice and like not say anything. But come on, like how rude is that lady? Like, I don't understand. We're all on a plane ride. We're all smushed together. Like, it's not a pleasant experience unless you're in first class. And even then, that's not like, oh boy, I get to ride an airplane. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's no need to be rude to me. And so anyway, so a couple more hours go by and we're finally descending onto the island. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, thank God, we made it. I can finally get off of this plane away from this lady. So we're starting to descend and I hear her go, ugh, ugh, like she's gonna throw up. And I'm like, I swear, if this lady throws up on me, I will lose it. I will lose it. So she's sitting there, like, pretend this is a scarf in my hair, and just going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And, like, she's kind of, like, looking over at me instead of at her husband. And I'm like, lady, if you're gonna throw up, you better be aiming at him because he loves you. I do not. I don't know you. And if you throw up on me, I will hurt you. And, like, on the plane too, there weren't any bags to throw up in, which like, I thought that was a thing, but apparently it wasn't for this particular plane. I don't know. So she was just gonna be like throwing up without anything to catch it. And so I'm just like scooting myself as far as I possibly can away from this lady into the corner, crushing myself even more than I was before. And I'm just like, please, dear Lord, let me land on this plane so I can get away from this lady. And the whole time the husband's like, it's okay, honey. It's okay, honey. It's okay. It's okay. And I'm just going, Lord, give me the strength. So we finally land. Thank God. Because it took a while to descend. It took, I don't know, I'd say around like 5, maybe 10 minutes. Because they do a slow descent. And I don't understand what this lady's problem was. We took off fine, but the, like, landing, like, I don't understand. The landing wasn't even, it was, like, a little bumpy, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, there was a very small amount of turbulence, so it wasn't even that bad. So I was just like, lady, why? Maybe you shouldn't have eaten all those snack things if you know your stomach gets upset. I don't understand, because, like, I know sometimes, like, roller coasters can make me feel nauseous. So if that's the case, I don't eat a whole lot if I'm going to go on a roller coaster. Same thing applies if you know you're not going to feel good. And this seemed to have been a reoccurring problem because she knew, like, ways to get herself to stop throwing up. You know what I mean? So we finally get off. She doesn't even, like, say, oh, you know, sorry for that. And I mean, it wasn't, I'm not over exaggerating. She was honestly, like, dry heaving, like, the entire way down. So 5 or 10 minutes of dry heaving. So I was feeling sick from just hearing her dry heave and like freaking out myself, like, please don't throw up on me, please. So we land, we get off the plane, and I'm just like, oh, hallelujah. All right, guys, so that was everything. I hope you enjoyed my horrible experiences that I had not too long ago with the plane. I hope the next time you fly, you don't have anything this bad happen to you. It was really awful, and it's like little petty things. It's not like I was going to die or anything, but it was just so ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all very, very soon in my next video. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, I will leave those links down below. And I hope you subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Bye, guys!